It's fall here in Japan, and we had a ride planned to enjoy some of the most beautiful leaves and scenery yet. We were heading to a cute guest house in Toyama prefecture called Takazuri Kita, but we ran into some issues on the ride, and we never actually made it. This video is all about that adventure and what happened. Hello? Today's ride is 67-ish miles. We're gonna go to a nice guest house. Look at all the stuff he's got. I have to carry a backpack this time because it's November and we need more layers. We started the ride by leaving Uchinada along the coast and heading towards Kahoku before turning southeast towards Oyabe. From there, we started heading up the mountain, but ran into some trouble and had to turn around and make our way back. This cycle path in Uchinada is really convenient because you don't have to worry about any car traffic, but it's also really picturesque, and we got to leave Uchinada with a really nice seaside view to start our day. Uchinada is a little bit out in the countryside, and we shared the road with a tractor before we headed down into the Kahoku Bay area. Kahoku is about 30 minutes north of the capital Kanazawa by train, and lies between the Sea of Japan to the west, the town of Hidatsu Shimizu to the north, and the town of Subata to the east. Uchinada is where we were coming from in the south. We saw a lot of kaki, or Japanese persimmon, on the trees that we passed on our ride. In Japan, these persimmons are often thought of as a harbinger of autumn, and they're really popular to eat in this season. I had never had one of these fruits before we came to Japan, but not only do they taste good, they're also really good for you. They have a lot of potassium, and they have a lot of vitamin C, more than a lemon. Wow. Bamboo. You can slice them into pieces and eat them plain just like an apple, but they also dry them and call them hoshigaki, which become really sweet as the sugars are dried down and concentrated in the sun. There's some very nice gold ginkgo trees over there. So far, so good. We're in a very pretty countryside area in Ishikawa. This orchard had a very sensitive alarm set to scare animals away, and probably people if they wandered too close. I thought the animated dog barks were a little bit funny, but it definitely beats getting chased by a real dog back home on the country roads in America. This was kind of a roundabout way to get to the guest house, and Zeb planned this route because we wanted to really enjoy the day, and we didn't really have a huge rush to get to the guest house. So, since it was such nice weather and the leaves were really pretty, we kind of took our time getting around to the Nanto area. So at this point in our ride, we had our first taste of some more rugged road, and the pavement was not totally clear. It was pretty covered with leaves and a little slippery with moss, honestly. Interesting. It is very slippery. But it was kind of fun also, and felt a little bit like we were exploring in a new place, even though right at the bottom of this road it opened back up into a really nice, clear, very well-used road again. Here we turned and started to climb up to Kurikara Fudoji, which is a Buddhist temple and the special head temple of the Koyasan Shingon sect. Oh my. I hope it's not like this for the whole 3 kilometers. I thought we already did the steep part. The temple itself is 1,300 years old, which is mind-blowing. I'd like to come back soon with more time to actually stop and enjoy the temple, but we did get to see some very cool fire bowl statues, which were built to convey the intensity of the Battle of Kurikara during the Genpei War about 800 years ago. Wow, look at the bowls! I like them. Look at our new friends. 1 and 2. There he is. They're very cute. I think they're supposed to be ferocious, though. The Genji general, Kiso Yoshinaka, was able to win by using fire bowls, and sent out a stampede of bulls with torches attached to their horns. It sounds very intimidating. However, today the park is really peaceful, and in the spring there's over 6,000 trees with cherry blossoms in bloom. We took a bit of a detour here to stop at a convenience store to get a snack refill. Zeb put on those trusty Crocs and headed inside to get some snacks for us. He has returned bearing gifts, some Molinari sushi, some chocolate, some drinks.
The flavor is beans and margarine.
Wow. This was a really beautiful valley. It was kind of hard for me to enjoy it too much though because Zeb had really put on the high burners and we were trying to make up a bit of time because we were running a little bit late. Zeb had estimated that this whole route in the original plan was only going to take us 4 hours, and we were about halfway in 2.5 hours, so he wanted to make up a little bit of time. We didn't realize just how late it was going to become though. Here we reached the Tori Dam, which is this huge arch dam that's in Toyama Prefecture, but right on the edge of Ishikawa Prefecture. Oh wow. In previous rides, we've actually ridden across the dam to head back to Kanazawa, but this time we were going to be riding alongside the reservoir. Eventually we would try to cut up the mountain and over the other side into the area in the mountains where the guest house was located. This part of the ride is where the view started to get really stunning, and it actually started to have some really bright fall foliage colors because the elevation was getting higher. I don't like this tunnel. I like these colors though. It's nice. We had seen a sign with a red X on it noting that possibly the road was closed up ahead, but as we couldn't read the Japanese, we kept going and just figured we would see if it was closed when we got there. As we rode a bit farther, there was a road that went straight that was crossed off, but the road we were trying to go to was on the left and was open. So we thought, great, the road must not be closed. It must be totally clear and passable. This part of the ride was my favorite, and it had the most stunning views. There was a pretty steep drop-off down into the gorge on our left, but it was also really pretty, as long as you gave the edge a respectful distance. And I think the views on this stretch of the road made the whole ride 100% worth it. However, pretty soon the road started to get worse and worse, and a little bit more like a trail than a road. This is just kind of a trail. We started to think that maybe this road was only used by hikers and maybe some fishermen, because it would be difficult to drive a car through here.
Somehow, people do drive through here.
Oh. I don't know what this animal noise was, but pretty soon after this, Zeb did see this huge Sika deer. The road turned into a trail, so we're walking the bikes. And Zeb has some music playing because we're not really sure about bears. So we're trying to talk really loud and play music so we don't sneak up on any wildlife. But it's really beautiful back here. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. We're gonna be late for dinner. This is like a sidewalk. Okay. Wow. When we reached this point, I started to realize why maybe the road hadn't been used so much. Uh-oh. Alright, we're making progress. However, here's our bikes, and that's the continuing road, the trail.
Yeah.
So we're about to have to get into this a little bit.
There's like a bit more
of a road. Oh my. Alright, well,
I might have to go up a little.
I'll pass you the bike.
Get you to hand me.
Once we crossed that big road washout, I thought that surely the road would get better because now you could theoretically drive in a car from the opposite end with the connecting road and reach this point. Hello, bears! So we thought, okay, we're just 10 miles away from the finish. This road surely can't last that long. On the map, it's going to connect in a couple miles, so we just started walking and just waiting for the road to get better. It's getting better. However, the farther and farther we walked, the more we realized that, oh, now it's getting worse. Maybe the road just wasn't going to get any better until we got off of it. We did have lights, and so we weren't too worried about it getting dark on us, but at this point, we finally called it quits and decided that we should just turn back because we didn't know how much longer we were going to be hiking, and the conditions just kept getting worse. Look, lights, the dam, we made it. I'm so excited. I was very scared. It's only 7:30, but it feels like midnight, like we've been out in the woods like all night. But anyway, that path was not passable, and we don't have time to make it to a different route, so maybe next time. I'm pretty disappointed, but it could be much worse. We probably should have turned back a long time earlier, but our stubbornness got the best of us, and we just kept thinking that surely the road would get better. Luckily, I guess we were smart enough to realize that we were being stupid, so we turned around. We're waiting on a crosswalk. We're in Kanazawa.
Surprise.
Yes, thank goodness. We're like 8 miles away from home. I'm so pleased. I really want some French fries. I want everything to eat. We rode across the Torii Dam and cut back a shorter way into Kanazawa using the Kanazawa bike paths and making the most direct route back to Uchinada. We did stop at the Family Mart one more time on our way back to get a bunch of snacks so that we could just veg out on the couch when we finally got home and showered. Wow, we did it. I have like mud all over my face. Okay, it feels so good to be back, and I've showered, my hair's still a little bit wet, and I'm clean, I ate some food, so life is really good. It was a really fun adventure, all the craziness aside. I would not recommend that route, even though it was beautiful, so I haven't linked it in the description. Usually I link all the routes in the descriptions if you want to check out past videos, but yeah, not this one. The road is a little bit too overgrown, a lot too overgrown to be passable, but that area is really beautiful. But we're gonna pick a different route, and hopefully we'll be able to go to that guest house another time because the couple that ran it was so thoughtful and kind, and I felt really bad that we had been out of service for so long, and we were supposed to check in at 3 p.m. and it was 7:30 or 7:45 by the time we got service for me to be able to message them and say, I'm very sorry that I've been out of touch, and also we're not going to be able to make it. And they had already sent me a message asking if we were okay and if there was anything they could do because they knew we were coming on a bike. So I really hope to actually be able to stay at their guest house sometime in the future, and we'll plan a different route, hopefully record that and actually make it that time. But yeah, it's fall in Japan so far has been really nice and a very welcome break from the hot summer. So I hope that winter is just as fun, but for now I've been really enjoying the fall. So thanks for coming along on this adventure ride, and we'll see you on the next ride.